Good afternoon. We often think about AI as software, but it's half true. Actually, intelligence itself has already become the new infrastructure of power. The intelligence, let's see if it works, The intelligence, and for centuries, the power was defined by land, by territories, by who controlled the resources. In fact, then the power shifted to industry, to who owns the factories, the resources, the logistics, the capital. But today, something fundamental is changing. And it's changing again, the way that we're thinking. Power is increasingly defined by who builds intelligence. Artificial intelligence is no longer software. It's actually become the infrastructure that shapes decisions, markets, institutions, and geopoliticals. In Europe today, 33% of people and citizens already use some kind of generative AI. And 1 in 5 companies already integrated AI in operations. But adoption alone, it's not power. Power becomes and comes from embedded intelligence into the decisions of your organizations. And strangely enough, the first people who taught me that, it was my grandmothers. It was not engineers, it was not professors, it was my grandmothers. One of them actually lost her mother at the age of 12 and became the woman of the family and create 9 siblings. Another one, the other grandmother, just studied until the 2nd grade. So they actually taught me that the power resides in knowledge. And both understood this very, very profound. They believe the only real inheritance that could give to me and to the family, it was that. Not money, not land, knowledge. Because knowledge creates freedom, opportunity, independence. And today, we are building systems that generate knowledge at a planetary scale. Which raised the question, who is shaping this intelligence? AI is just not technology. It's power amplified. The companies and countries controlling AI infrastructure, like energy grids, semiconductors, computing, data centers, will dominate economical, political, military influences, and even for decades. We often think AI as apps, prompts, chatbots, automation, productivity tools. But the real battleground is hidden. Who controls the ships? Who controls energy? Who controls data? And who controls networks? This is the hidden war of AI. The war is not fought on screens, but in infrastructure, in strategy, and geopolitical position. So the question is no longer whether AI will shape the future. We already are living it. It's already defining who has the power today. Behind the headlines, a global competition is following. United States is investing tons of billions in AI infrastructure and chips. China, the other way, it's integrating AI in this national and industrial and geopolitical strategy, very strong. And Europe is leading ethical regulation, but lagging in computing, in capacity, and in semiconductor production. So it's not just about innovation. It's about who shapes the rules of intelligence itself. Because AI systems influence how people understand the world, and they also influence the narratives become legit. Which alliances appear credible? Which futures seem possible? It's no longer just technology. AI is becoming a symbolical power. Now, let's bring these into close to your organizations, because geopolitical race in AI, it's not abstract, actually. It directly affects the way that you are doing AI business and your strategy. The AI power is embedded in the infrastructure, as I told before. Semiconductors, energy systems, cloud platforms, data governance. And only a small number of regions control the most advanced chip production. So with the energy demand that we have so far from AI data centers, that it's growing dramatically, and to data flows that are increasingly shaped by regulation, what do we have? This means something very simple. AI strategy is no longer just digital strategy. Organizations like yours that understand these design intelligence ecosystems. Organizations that will ignore it will risk building tools without power in a few years. And this actually, for years, we have heard about digital transformation. AI now show us that the results are mixed. Not because the technology failed, just because many organizations digitize inefficiency. They automated outdated processes. They scaled old models of business. They implemented tools just for the tools without redesigning the new business and the decisions for the new area. So studies show us that only a small fraction of the AI initiatives produce real measurable economic impact. And this is the why, because leaders are focused on tools instead of intelligence flows. More than ever, digital transformation without strategy, it's just automated tools and rest has progress. In the intelligence age, every organization faces three forces that will actually say to you if you're going to survive or not. First, strategy. These need to be embedded actually in every decision that you make, every process, every resource or allocation. Secondly, sustainability. We all hear about sustainability everywhere, but sustainability actually is resilience in a physical world. AI is not virtual, it's physical. Energy, chips, materials, global supply chain. So if we are going to ignore limits of these, we are going to have a strategic fragility in our corporations. So sustainability intelligence, it's actually power that lasts. Third, inclusion. It's not just take the box, because the intelligence behind the inclusion also give us the blind spots of our corporation. A narrow design of our intelligence and our AI systems, it will lead to you to these blind spots and amplify to them everywhere. Diversity and inclusion is not just another tick in the box for HR tools and departments. It's actually a risk mitigation for your systems and your products. Ignoring these forces, and AI become just expense liability and not an advantage for you. Strategy is not about adopting tools. It's about embedded intelligence in every logic of your organization. So companies that integrate this intelligence in these core decisions outperform competitors in speed, foresight, and adaptability. Strategy is actually about learning systems, not dashboards, not apps. Systems that are improving decisions and continuously improving, that detects emerging threats and identify opportunities, risks and opportunities, before the other sees them. So ask yourself, where can AI amplify insight, not just automate tasks in my company? How does your organization actually learn fast than my competitors? Who controls the intelligence flows that defines your market? In the intelligence age, power flows to those who design the intelligence, not for the ones that are consuming it. AI is not virtual, it's physical, it's material, and constrained about and resources. Data centers, this is actually numbers that we all hear in the news, that the ones that are related to technology always hear about it. Data centers consume about 1% of the global electricity, and it's rising. So rare materials, critical for semiconductors, are concentrated in less than 10 countries in the world. This actually creates geopolitical leverages. Compute infrastructure depends on stable energy, cooling, connectivity, and disruption is operational fragility only, any kind of disruption. So sustainability, it's also not just a tick in the box for ESG in our corporations. It's strategic resilience. Everybody remembers the blackout, right? Organizations that design AI are not looking into these resource limits, but the ones that are, they avoid shocks from energy crisis, sanctions, and supply disruptions. So that's ensure to you that the power that you are generating today will be available tomorrow. Ignoring it will risks to exposure to failures and cascade globally. In short, strategy without sustainability, it's blind. Intelligence without resilience, it's powerless. The most powerful question in AI and regarding women in tech is, who decides what intelligence looks like? AI reflects assumptions, blind spots, priorities of who is creating them. World Economic Forum last year stated that women are 60% roundabout of the population of the world, but only 20% are actually in AI functions, and less in developers. So narrow perspectives will lead to what? Narrow intelligence. Decisions by homogeneous teams scale biases and blind these spots globally. In other words, who builds AI? Builds the world that AI shapes. System designs for only a few voices of the world fail to anticipate any kind of risk. Complexity fail to shows and detects cultural nuances. Inclusion, again, it's not a nice to have, it's strategic infrastructure. So, the organizations embedding diversity inclusion in their corporations, but really living it, really walk the talk, they create resilience intelligence capable of navigating this complexity. So the question is simple but profound. Are you designing intelligence, or will intelligence design the future for you? Homogeneous teams blind the spots back to intelligence systems. So when AI influences healthcare, finances, governance, security, these blind spots scale globally. So when we have an AI create with heterogeneous and the teams that represents the society, we have robust, adaptable, and global relevant systems. Diversity is actually not a moral obligation. It's, again, strategic infrastructure. And the fact for you, companies with diverse leadership outperform peers by 25 to 35% in innovation and capability. So ask yourself, if your intelligence is narrow, is your organization prepared for a complex world? Regulation. In this intelligence area and age, regulation is not compliance. Europe AI Act set the rules for high-risk AI and have fines up to 7% of the global revenue. But the US, by the other hand, favors innovation-first policies. China controls AI by state strategy and data access, and also license. So each approach is actually a form of power, shapes what intelligence will do and can do. Will say who can operate to a scale, control narratives, alliances, and dictate what kind of solutions are legit. So, put this simple, regulation is a soft power in the A area. Those who ignore this governance will risk lose legitimacy in the global markets, being blocked by algorithms and governments, falling behind competitors who are designing the intelligence responsibility. So AI is actually shaping economies, institutions, societies, and even governance. But technology alone, it's actually not decide anything. The outcome, it's not decided by the technology. The leadership does. Your leadership. The real question is simple. What kind of intelligence will we choose to build? And who will be included in the designing it? The choices we are making today will say who holds economic, geopolitical, and technological power, who shapes the global narrative, and who drives and who falls behind. So for you, now it's your move as a leaders. Thank you.